What if that was the thing that saved our lives?
I spy with my little eye. A girly I can get cause she don't get too many likes. A curly headed cutie I could turn into my wife. Wait, that means forever, ever, hold up, never mind.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Kazia Taylor, college and lifestyle YouTuber, and I'm back at it again with another video. This video is my first story time on my channel. I'm very excited to do it, and this is actually a very good story to tell. It's like very important in my college experience so far. So about a few months ago, during the beginning of second semester, which I'm still in, our school had a security threat, or campus had a security threat. Breakdown from how I found out about the security threat, or where I was when I found out about the security threat. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have class at 2 o'clock. I was in class, and towards the end of class, I get out of class at like 3 something. Sometimes it's 3:30, sometimes it's 3:40, but like it was towards the end of class, and campus police sent out a campus-wide text message saying, "Stay put, school's on lockdown." And not everyone wasn't on their phones at the same time, but you could, like, if there was a camera in our classroom watching everyone like read the message at different times and just like having this look of confusion, it probably would have been a hilarious video. And so now it's the end of class, and we're all like kind of looking at each other like kind of confused, and so our professor is like wrapping up with his lecture, and he's like, "All right, you can go." And then someone says, I forgot who it was, but someone was like, "No, we can't." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" And so the whole class was telling him how we just got this text message saying to stay put, to stay in the class that we're in, or to stay in whatever location that we're in, and we can't move. And so he was lecturing during the time the message was sent out, so he never saw it. So then he goes to get his cell phone, and he reads the text message, and he's like, "Oh, okay, everybody come back inside." Now when he said everybody come back inside, a lot of people were still leaving. A lot of people were just like disregarding the message, I guess not taking it as serious as others were, but a few people did leave our class. So now our class is like divided, like half left, half stayed. There were only 2 guys that stayed, so it was like all the girls in the class and 2 guys. And I'm not gonna say anybody names or like locations, specific locations or like classrooms and stuff in this video, just for security reasons. I'm just telling the story of how this went about, and you know, it is a real situation. One of the guys that stayed back I was friends with, and so he's like, he came to sit by me, and he's like, you know, "Is this real?" Whatever. Just like trying to like laugh it off, at the same time see if it's for real. So what my professor decides to do is, since we're locked into the classroom, he's going to turn on his Netflix account, and he's going to let us watch whatever we want to watch. So Stranger Things was played, random stuff was played, like everybody was just throwing out suggestions of what to watch on Netflix. Then like 30 minutes of that went by, and my professor tells us to be quiet. He's like, "Hey, I still don't know if this is real. They still haven't sent me any information, but if this is real, y'all need to be quiet." And so that was like the first click in my head, like, he's telling us to be quiet. Y'all be quiet. Something could go down. Be quiet. That was the first thing that was important. Him telling us to be quiet, right? That was like the first thing that went off in my head. The second thing was the location that we were in the building. My classroom was like the front of the building, okay? So where we were, it was like we were in this theater type of setting. We were in an auditorium inside of a campus building. And so we were in this shell, because like the theater kind of is like underground a little bit, but we were still at the front of the building. So that was like going off in my head. Well, I started thinking about that like personally, and so I think I said something to our professor. I think when he was telling us to be quiet, I was like, "Yeah, because we are at the front of the building." And then he was like, "Yeah, well, we're kind of in this shell," and I was like, "No, I mean, yeah, but we're still at the front of the building. I had went to the restroom. Now they were telling us to stay put, but I had to potty. Like I really had to go. And I think this is when I realized, like, we were at the front of the building, like this is like pretty nerve-wracking, because for me to go to the restroom, I was like kind of walking out into what I didn't know could have been something, you know, like I could have been walking into something being in the front of the building. Like if someone was entering the building, they would have saw me and immediately I would have been in danger. But I had to use the restroom, so I went to the restroom. And at this point, I'm not as scared. I'm not as like, I'm taking it serious. I'm staying put. I'm following the directions. I'm trying to stay calm. I'm texting my parents, but it's not like clicking to me like we're on security lockdown. We're on security lockdown because I don't know what kind of lockdown the cops are talking about. And so I remember going to the restroom, and I remember taking selfies and putting them on my Instagram story. And prior to taking those selfies, I remember saying that my campus was on lockdown. So a few friends, shout out to Olivia and Kiara, were like on me like, how are you taking selfies? You're supposed to be staying put, you on lockdown, keep us updated, whatever, like go back to your room, stop taking selfies. And so I finished using the restroom. I go back to the classroom. Now here comes the third ding. Now I think by this time we got our second text message. So all this time we were waiting on Campo to give us more information, or at least our professor was. Get the second text message, like saying high security threat. So I'm like, high security threat? Like, is this like what? Because they're not telling us what the situation is. So now at this point, I need to state, I knew of a lot of people at different locations of campus. Okay, while this whole thing was going on, my roommate was in the room, and my friend Sylvia was third floor of one of the campus buildings. She was very high up, and so she was able to see things that I couldn't see that was happening on campus from where I was. So at this point, Sylvia has texted me, and she's like, are you okay? Whatever. She's telling me where she is, and she's telling me like her location and how she's alone. And I was like, Sylvia, no, why would you be alone? Like, go downstairs, go with the other people. And she's like telling me that she's gonna stay put or whatever. They told her to move, whatever. And so she's like, she says she's like by this window. So she said that she could see like swarms of cop cars entering campus, and she could see like police walking around campus searching and stuff like that. And so she's texting me this, and I'm like, what is going on? And so I don't know why it didn't dawn on me to like look up the news, but like she started texting me like, oh, this is what happened. I just look at the news report, whatever. So this is actually the whole situation, how we got on lockdown in the first place. There was a shooting at a mall that's not necessarily nearby, but in close proximity. Shootout resulted in a death. And so that resulted in a chase down between the people who were doing the shooting and the police. And our school got caught in the crossfire between that situation, between the mall and the chase. The escape route or the escape place was our campus. And so the shooters were now on campus. And so once I found that out, it was like, whoa. But that still wasn't the third thing. I still haven't got to the third thing yet. I know I'm taking a long time. So my roommate is texting me like, hey, are you okay? Where are you? Whatever. I'm telling her I'm still in class. She's like, I'm in the room, whatever. So that, like, everybody was just like at different places. And so Sylvia was also telling me that there were a lot of kids walking on the quad and walking by our fountain and stuff, and just like outside walking when campus police had already said to stay put. And so they weren't taking the threat serious. And so then Sylvia's like, she thinks that she's assuming that they said it was high risk because they wanted everybody to go inside. Like, people were disregarding the message, but the school needed everybody to stay put just for liability. Like, they just needed us to stay put, and people were disregarding that. Now I'm texting my parents like a lot. Like, now I'm like, this is going on, this is the news, this is what I heard. I'm looking it up for myself, I'm getting the facts straight, like who did what, when, boom, boom, boom. My mom texted me, oh Lord. Like, my mom literally texts back, oh Lord. And this is when I learned the important lesson: always carry your phone charger, because my phone is starting to die, but I have to keep Sylvia calm because she's alone. I have to update my parents, and I have to keep myself calm, so I have to get on social media. My phone is starting to die. And so we're like an hour and 30 minutes into this whole situation, and then ding number 3 goes off. Okay, my professor decides to move us to a different location in the building. Comes back into the class and he's like, hey, I think we should move locations, go blah 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 blah, and turn right, turn blah 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 blah, and I'll meet you guys there. I'm just going to close my laptop, close the room, whatever. So we all gather our stuff. In the middle of everybody like trying to joke it off, I think to myself, this is the third thing: does he know something we don't know? Why is he moving us? Like, did he go and find out some information that's like life-threatening, and now he feels the need to move us to safety? And like, he's not even with us at this point. He said he can get his laptop, but what if he's like about to sacrifice himself? Y'all, I just started thinking crazy stuff. I'm just like, what is going on? Like, that was the third thing, because I was just thinking to myself, like, what if him moving us is the end all be all? Like, he saved our lives for moving us out of that room, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if that was the thing that saved our lives? And so now I'm like, where is he? Like, is he okay? But I'm still walking to wherever we're going. So those are like how that, so at this point I'm like, I'm scared. I'm taking it serious. I'm scared. And we got lost. Like, wherever he told us to go, we weren't finding it. And so this random professor, you guys, I don't even know her name. She was another saving grace. She just came out of nowhere and she was like, hey, where you guys going? And we're like, we're with Dr. So-and-so. We're just trying to find somewhere to stay. And she was like, okay, everybody come in my office. So we all huddle in her office. She leaves the room. And so everybody's like, does anyone know who she is? Like, does anyone know where we are? Because, like, how am I supposed to tell my parents, you know, the specific location? I don't even know who this lady is. And so, like, we're trying to find out. And then our professor comes back in the room and he tells us, like, that's so-and-so whatever, we're so-and-so whatever. So we got the information. Everything seems to be under control, but we're in the office trying to be quiet, and that goes on for like another hour. And during this time, our professor is back in the room and he opens his laptop. So he did actually go and get his laptop. He opens his laptop and he finds like a live recording of, or a live filming of the search. And I think during this time, we got another text. I can't remember what the text said, but it said from Camp Police. I can't remember what the text said, but it said something on the lines of, you know, just continue to stay put, we're still working it out. And at this point, I get back on social media because I'm like, I have these 2 people who are worried about me. Let me keep them updated also. I'm just like, I have to keep everybody updated. So I got back on social media, on my Instagram, and I'm like, okay, I'm really scared now. I'm about to get off of my Instagram. Talk to y'all when it's over. Why I said I was getting off of Instagram is because how was I supposed to know the shooter wasn't, you know, tracking the social medias of kids? Back to like how I was saying, I was getting information from different parts of the building. So were other people in the classroom. They're finding out different information also. And so one girl was like, the shooter is by the on-campus apartments. He's trying to find a hideout. And so she's like, yeah, somebody just sent in the group chat that the shooter just knocked on their door trying to pay them to hide them from the police. And so then we get information saying that the shooter's going door to door to the apartments, but at this point nobody's answering because everybody's aware of the situation and nobody's like opening their door, and that's what's going on at the apartments. Like 5 minutes after we heard that news, we found out that that person was captured. Okay, that campus police did capture that person, that shooter. And so now there's 2 other people. But what we also found out was that the guns were taken. Mind you, I said I usually get out of class around 3:30 something. We get a text message. The campus police sends out a text message saying all clear at 6 something. Everybody was taken into custody. The main security threat was the person who was by the apartments, who was going door to door. After that happened, the whole campus had to be swept or, searched to make sure that everything was safe and secure. The rest of the buildings, the rest of campus was not in threat, the rest of campus was not under any threat at all. It was simply that situation, and then everything had to be searched. Like all the, search teams had to come out and search everything. So that's why I have this shirt on from God is Dope. Thank God for the saving graces. Thank God for my professor, because if something were to happen, I promise y'all, him moving us probably was the best thing ever. Forever remember him for that. So thank God nothing dangerous happened. Nobody got hurt. There was no shootout on my campus where we were under lockdown for 3 hours. I found Sylvia to make sure she was okay. Like, she was like walking to me and I was walking to her, and we just hugged. And so you could just tell everybody went to the cab and we all just wanted to eat. Like, and the cab was also shut down. So all the workers were in the back of the kitchen. They were on shutdown. They couldn't move also. So it took them a little while to like get the grill started or whatever, to like warm up the food and stuff and prepare food for us. But it was just like everybody was just in there just like, I need a cookie. I need to drink a soda, like something just to like de-stress. I just want to say, if you're ever in a security lockdown, the most important thing is for you to let someone know where you are, a specific location. You need to send someone your location if they have an iPhone. Stay alert. Make sure you're listening for things, for sounds, talking that's going on outside of the room, and you are staying quiet. That is pretty important, because so say if the campus is on lockdown and a door is opening, you need to hear that, because that door should not be opening. So that can be like something very serious. That can be a very serious tidbit that you need to hear. So you need to stay quiet. Always bring a phone charger, because you never know when something like that is going to happen. I remember when we were in the office, the professor's office, my professor was just like, this is so rare. Like, he said he's been working at the school for like 20 years or something, and this has never happened. This is so, he just kept saying how rare it was. So always be prepared for a situation that you don't think could happen, because it can. And yeah, so signing off, you guys. It's Kazia Taylor, college and lifestyle YouTuber. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe, please subscribe, and I'll see you all later.
I ain't been getting high, well maybe a little, baby, I don't wanna lie. I know when you text me, girl, I don't always reply. Well, you're not an angel either.